drive all over the road. Good morning, everybody. My name is Osa. It is, what is it? It's the 27th of May, Saturday morning, and we are playing Farming Simulator 22 on Maypole Farm. And I seem to have a problem with Field 64, which we bought. And yeah, it's not growing. But I'll worry about that in a minute. First things first, the field down here that we bought is growing and needs some fertiliser. So it is May 1, just gone 7 o'clock in the morning. I have an absolute ton of contracts to do, and we will be doing those shortly. But for right now, I think, well, since I've taken the contracts today, I've got to finish them today. Do I have my crop? Why do I not have my crop sensor? Well, that was an oversight. Fine. We will go back, get the crop sensor, and then we'll set up for doing some spraying. Right. Money is still a little tight. Can't remember what I ended up doing last week. We were baling some stuff, feeding the cows. The cows, I believe, have a good amount of food. Let's go check. I've done all the perishable selling. I haven't checked the cows this morning, so I should do that. We have food. 111,000. We need more food in here. That much is certain. We also need milk, 2 truckloads to ship. We'll wait till later on in the day. But that whole 100,000 food, what we might end up doing is I've got a bunch of hay contracts set up, a couple of silage contracts. Silage contracts aren't going to help us. Actually, the bonus silage might help us. The hay can go in the cowshed, in the robot feeder, so we can set up for using that later. The silage, if we buy some corn or maize silage, then oh, there it is. If we buy some maize silage, I can mix that up in the feed mixer in order to make some TMR for the cows. So that'll be a good thing. We're not going to end up with much in the way of maize silage created by us for this year. These fields are looking very, very nice, I must admit. But yeah, I think the primary goal of this farm now is to keep the cows well fed, well happy, and producing an absolute ton of milk that we can turn into butter and sell. And M Patchwork, good morning and welcome to Saturday Stream. How are you today? Okay, so it's a little bit of a waste of time there where I forgot to put the sensors on the front, but they're now in place. we're actually going to have to spray this field with fertilizer and with the other stuff that the weeds don't like. Herbicide. That's a good thing. Attach button has been a little bit of a problem lately. Okay, we'll lower that. We'll spread it out. And I'll jump out of the... Oh, no. Unfold. I am fairly sure that this is, oh yeah, very low fertilizer levels or nitrogen levels in this field, and sorghum does need a fair amount more. I suppose, okay, that field that has totally failed to grow anything in spite of the fact I'm pretty sure I planted it with sorghum. Maybe what we can do with that is actually plant corn in it, which means I'm going to need I'm going to need a planter, I'm going to need a cultivator, and I'm going to need my big track. Well, okay, we could rig it and use this tractor. So I'll get a smaller cultivator, we can set it to work, and then we'll get a bigger a small planter and just lease them for the year or for the day, and get some corn in the ground. We'll worry about foraging it later, so maybe the fact that the field didn't do much of anything is not as big a disaster as I thought it was, potentially. But let's get this thing sprayed first. Yes. And let's see how this works out. And we'll also, using these sensors, I really don't know if I'm using them correctly. So we're a little bit off finding out whether we've done everything right. Although the canola fields are looking very nice, I must say. Although I may I may stop growing canola. Canola it's a good crop, doesn't use much seed, but it really doesn't net much income. It also needs an absolute ton of that's interesting. Oh, I see. Absolute ton of fertilizer. But we've got an absolute ton of fertilizer over at the cowshed, so that's not too bad a deal. So big difference in dirt quality here, which is resulting in us not requiring much in the way of fertilizer. Trying to fish out my tea bag, which, there it is. Okay, tea bag done. And I am drifting away from the edge of the field, so we'll correct that again. So yeah, we've quite interesting the contrast between how much fertiliser or nitrogen the sorghum needs on the different soil types here. About to step back up into the dark green again. And there we go. Okay. So I think what I'd probably do for this field, it does need herbicide. I think I might skip that this month and get out there and try and get the other field seeded. I thought it was behaving a bit odd, that it didn't need rolling, it didn't need anything. But then I noticed just as I started up just now that it was flagged as a canola field, which obviously was the last thing that was planted in there. But the field doesn't seem to have a state. I couldn't pick the rocks up on the field, which is weird. Don't know. Do is I'm going to widen this headland along the bottom here. It might be that I have to do something really crazy and plough the field just to make it a field. It may have been that the latest update just eliminated field 64 as a field. Which is a little bit unusual. But I also need to get the contracting started as well. Fortunately, I think what I'll do is I'll pick the biggest field that I've set to contract with hay, and we'll go out and I'll set a worker off on that, or two. I probably need to skip round the left edge here because I've missed some. But at least for the immediate future, the cows look okay. Yeah, there's a whole load. Doesn't seem to be spraying any extra on the right there. At all. Oh yeah, there we go. I thought I'd missed a little bit, but still not loaded Courseplay on the save, but that's fine. And I have downloaded a couple of other mods I'd like to get included. What else was there? Oh, there was the improved loans, so you actually, you amortize the loan over a period, and you pay back the amount borrowed and the interest. But I didn't, as I said, I didn't add it to the save. So I've downloaded them, but they're not available at this point. Don't think I've got a loan running. We could do a check on that. No loans, just not a lot of money either. But we are, if I'm going to lease a a thing, we are going to need to borrow some money to do that, or make some money quickly. I'd like to keep all our tractors working if at all possible on stuff, which does mean there are going to be things. Anyway, I think I will set this off on a worker and we'll get in here. Okay. Contracts that we have selected, we have 4 in this area. That's the supermarket. So if we head by the supermarket, we can do 46, 45, 44. I think we have to go into this yard to get to 35, and then we can head over there. I'm not sure which contract is which. Let's take a look. 44, 5 and 6. 44 is silage, 45 is TED, 46 is TED, 35 is also a TEDer, then we got 68 TEDer, 89 silage. Okay. Oh, it is what it is. Let's get this thing in the fields and start cutting as needed. I could just do this one, just go mow everything. And then once everything's mowed, that was the wrong turn. Once we've mowed all the fields, I can then that field is on that yard as well. Okay. Posts in the fence hedges. A little bit annoying. Okay. So yeah, once all the fields have got the grass cut, I can then either TED, then I'm going to have to rake, then I'm going to have to bale. Or if they are silage, then all I have to do is do that there. Okay, let me see. I'm going to have to unfold the back. This field is 45, 45 is tedding. So Control Y, Control Y, Control Y. There we go. And I will set that off on a worker. And we will watch our money drop. Oh, damn it. Try that again and we will get conditioned grass. That's the one. Okay, you do your thing. We're going back to this guy who is still working. Okay, let's... Oops. I left that engine running. Good job. So 45 is hay. Let's get the hay done. So we'll have a lot of work with the Massey Ferguson today because that's obviously going to be doing the tedding, the rowing and the baling. We'll save the John Deere for the heavy jobs. Now I'm not going to start this guy off immediately. We'll let we'll do the entire field first cutting it because this is not a square field, so the mowers are just going to miss bits anyway. So I'm going to have to come back and clean up the edges of the field, and then I can set this guy off doing his thing. Could take the milk, not going to. This should be on its penultimate rundown, so I'm going to let the worker finish this off, and then we will see what we shall see. Now I know the seeder we have is a direct drill, so it should pull up what's in the ground and replace it. It didn't. I also know I do eventually want to have, one of these. What's that? Disc harrow. Oh, an NM6. Low horsepower. Too low. I want something 180, 190 or better. So that's not a thing. Massey Ferguson square baler. Yes. And another one of those. We already have one of those. I think we already have one of those. Yeah. So, okay, I could borrow some money, buy that. It's 390 horsepower. I'm going to need the John Deere to pull that. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, not going to worry about that right now. What we need is... See, I don't know if I want a plough to create the field. I could use a cultivator to create the field. We're done. We're done. Okay, let's fold that up. Fold that up, lift that up, and off we go. So that field's sprayed. I could come back and herbicide it, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I don't think. I want to figure out what's going on with that other field that we have that doesn't have anything growing in it. So we'll drop this off back in the arable yard. Actually, I'm going to drive this over to that other field, see if it's got a level of nitrogen that can be detected. Because if it can't, then we might have to take drastic measures. I might have to do it all manually if it's just completely blown out field. If I do have to plough it, I will do the easy developer tools to remove the stones, because we've already tried to do that once and it didn't work. That's kind of what got me concerned about this field in the first place, was it wouldn't let me pick up the stones. Okay, let's select that. Okay, there is a nitrogen detection. So nitrogen is at 100, pH is perfect, crop type is canola, and soil is loam. Okay. Get that folded up, and I guess, well, we'll just drive through the hedge. That's a good thing. Okay, we'll head down to our yard. I don't think this tractor is capable of hauling our cedar. But we can always give it a try. Okay, I'll drop that there. I will drop this over here. Try and remember to pick it up next time. Okay, what is our cedar? Our cedar is 240 horsepower. This tractor's a little light for that, but you know what? To test something, I'm fine with just going out there with this and seeing if I can make something happen. There is no seed. Okay, that's probably because the seed is over here. Okay, seed. Yeah, I think the Deutz could have pulled this. It had 247 horse. I think this has only 220, which technically makes it a little underpowered. Looks like our mower's stopped. Ugh, typical. So let us bring this here. If the worker won't work on the field, then there's obviously definitely something wrong with it. And that gives me time to go check on the John Deere. Okay. So if this does plant, I'm not planting corn. Well, I don't have to. Okay, that is doing things. Is it doing the right things? Field 64. Not doing anything. This field is a complete ghost. Because it should be saying planted. Okay, I think that explains it. This isn't, I mean, it's making the texture, it's not using any seed. Yeah, we should be using seed. Okay. This could get expensive, which means I need to make sure that if we borrow some equipment and it doesn't work, that we get paid for it, or we don't lose the money for it, because this is a game bug, not me messing up. So I'm going to drop this in this yard too. And what's the best cultivator, or I'll bring a cultivator up. If the cultivator doesn't work, I'm going to have to borrow a plough, which means I don't then need to cultivate